Welcome to the fourth video in the Build a Quirk Workshop series. If you haven't been paying attention to me until now, then you have missed out. Go back and watch the other three and you'll be so lost. Or you can skip the whole series if you want to stay quirkless. Now for my catchphrase. Wait, I don't have one yet. How about, let's get started? Lame. Let's get criminal! Fine. Let's just do this.
I'm not sure where my arch nemesis is, but I imagine he's plotting something. I'm just going to move on anyway. There are 9 more limitations, tier 2 and 3. They each have 4. They cost 8 and 10 points each. The last one is called limited range. It can be bought at any tier. Spending 5 points will barely put you into the medium range. Spending 8 points will put you deep into mid-range. If you put the full 10 points in, then your quirk will be short-ranged.
Ugh, stop. You're doing things out of order. These buffoons will never remember all that while we explain the limitations in detail. Tier 2's 4 limitations are cooldown, hard limit, harmful, and indicator. I will start with hard limit, since it is often paired with other limitations. A hard limit is one that cannot be passed, at least usually. In the case of My Hero Academia, it also includes those that can be passed but trigger some other limitation. A good example of Jiro's quirk, earphone jack, has a maximum earlobe extension of 6 meters, or its furthest detection range of 12 meters. For the latter, let us examine Uraraka's zero gravity. She has a hard limit of 3 tons. If she passes it, then it makes her nauseous. Many quirks in Class 1A include the hard limit, though not all of them are quite so defined. For our purpose, the better defined the limit, the better we understand the quirk's capabilities.
So you plan to steal the show again, huh? Hiding in wait? Not worth bothering with, since despite your intelligence, you seem to lack technique. The cooldown limitation denotes a period of time during which the quirk cannot be used. Since the USJ attack, Eraserhead's eraser has needed to let his eyes rest. It's the original blueprint for this limitation. It can also be used in conjunction with a hard limit, like in the case of Tokoyami's Dark Shadow. While not stated, there is a certain amount of dark energy to power that quirk. After it is used up, Dark Shadow must be recharged for a period of time. Harmful applies to any quirk that can inherently hurt the user or those around them. Todoroki's quirk, half cold, half hot, is a great example, as using one half without the other can put the user in grave danger. The quirk also naturally damages those that it touches. In a world where heroes and villains are often in battle, this one seems a little odd.
Funny you should mention that. Initially I was going to use harmless. The more I thought about it, the less it seemed to fit, since in everyday life, having a harmful quirk would be a major disadvantage, especially when paired with some of the upcoming limitations. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The last of Tier 2's limitations would be indicator. Erasure is again the blueprint, since Aizawa's hair always stands up, and his eyes glow red when he uses his quirk.
I think I've noticed a few others, like how in the anime, Uraraka's zero gravity causes her hands to glow pink, or how Cementos seems to have a green circle glowing around him when using cement. These could be just for visual effects instead of being an indicator.
Which is exactly why I didn't include them in my calculations. But they are decent examples of what an indicator could be. In case of you watching forgot, like I predicted, each of those cost 8 points apiece.
That brings us to Tier 3 with contact requirement, stipulation, uncontrollable, and weakness. Contact requirement? That one seems like something rather natural. We usually have to have contact with things to interact with them. I don't think that it belongs in Tier 3. In fact, it almost seems like it should be part of limited range.
I do agree with you, except that out of all the students in Class 1A, only one of their quirks has a contact requirement, zero gravity, Uraraka's quirk. Plus, then you have quirks like the one mentioned previously, Cement. It requires contact with material to control, but it has a long range of what it can affect. Thus, with it being both separate and rare, it was placed in the highest tier. The limitation stipulation restricts a quirk with a specific condition, such as how creation can only be used to create non-living things, or how earth flow only works on Earth. It is the highest tier due to it being so particular, which greatly lessens a quirk's abilities.
Uncontrollable is exactly as it sounds. The quirk cannot be controlled in some way. This could be the way Aoyama's naval laser simply cannot be controlled. Or it could be how Dark Shadow is an independent sentience from Tokoyami. It could even be as simple as how Mount Lady cannot control how large she grows. The final limit in Tier 3's list is weakness. The quirk has some sort of vulnerability. Examples include how both Earphone Jack's detection method and Anna Voice's ability to speak with animals can be overcome with sound, or Dark Shadow's aversion to light, though I think you might still remember Tier 3 limitations cost 10 points apiece.
They might have remembered that, but I know that they forgot about limited range. It's such an advanced concept, a limitation that exists in all 3 tiers.
So as of now, everyone's quirk range is unlimited. Similarly, how Aoyama's naval laser can go an infinite distance. But you can limit your range by 3 different ranges: long, medium, and close. If your quirk has long range, but there is a limit to distance, then you can do it for 5 points. Medium range will let you do it for 8 points. The shortest range, close range, will get you that for 10 points. The goal of creating your quirk factor is to have your creation points. That is the number you got with the dice from part 2. Then you take the quirk type, intended use, and stats and subtract those numbers from your creation points. After having a negative number, you try to get to 0 by adding the limitations from these different tiers. Now, I do believe that some of you may come up with your own limitation that this system may have missed. If so, I would love to hear them. Leave them in the comments below.
Now, if you loved having me around, praise me in the comments.
Is that the only reason why you're really here?
Of course,
Remind me, why did I even invite you here?
to scare away all your viewers.
Whatever. With that being said, we need to talk about how to name our quirk.
That's not in my system. Forget that. And now that we're done with all this, don't you dare like, don't comment, don't subscribe, and I hate that stupid bell. Now away with you all!
Wait, no, we gotta talk about this. It's so important. Whoa, what are you doing? Don't touch that. It'll...